Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel, Living the Country Life with Thomas Collins. Here's part 3 of the town hall meeting of Otter Creek, Florida. Let's get into it.
I don't know if there's anything else in my books.
3.
That's probably it for now.
Were those 2 clerks, temporary clerks, were they even approved by the council?
Well, after the fact, the last one that was hired, Angela, even though they promised her the job before ever running it, she of course got the job. Even though I put in a resume and Miss Preston put in a resume, they supposedly picked the most qualified, but I have to disagree that they did.
Surprise, surprise.
And the third clerk was not advertised.
So did we finish the vote with that zoning and planning position and what's happening there? Did that ever? It's just being terminated? Okay, perfect. Write me down. So the next, or the last thing for the new business before we move on to other things is the online calendar of events / website. We need to create a website for the town that also has an online calendar. That way people can go online and look to see what's going on, get in touch, leave comments, come into this century. So that will be worked on, and whatever we figure with how much that's going to cost, we can present that at the next meeting for a vote, but we'll get it all together.
Will people be able to pay their water bills?
That's something we're definitely going to be looking into. Also, on the water bills, I do want to start including a breakdown, which I do believe should have always been there. So in the future, that breakdown will be there. People will be charged the correct amount, commercial or residential, not based on a size of a pipe, but the way it was supposed to be done was commercial and residential. So those
permits as well. You can apply for a permit to build a fence or that way online, or
we will have guided growth in this town going forward. So we are not blocking people from doing things. We are going to get together and do them the correct way. And when things are implemented, when we get together with the county and change things, the ordinance will go and it's all going to be legal. But yeah, we're not knocking anybody down from doing what they should be doing. You don't pick and choose and play games with people.
Amen.
One last thing.
Long before you came here, we had water, we had pumps, we had everything. But mysteriously, in the first 5 years that I lived here, the pumps disappeared. Nobody ever found them.
That's weird.
They were never replaced. I'm still operating with one meter. The other one went to town or someplace, they took it out. Needless to say who was the water man at that time, plus this buddy who's back on the job. All right, the pumps disappeared. Where are they? They tell me in the back of the fire engine that disappeared. And where's the fire engine? Along with the pickup truck that was brand new, paid for, in that garage, disappeared.
You mean the one
County,
that's over there?
all you guys, right, exactly. They all voted to let it go.
Oh, the fire truck.
Yeah,
There wasn't a vote.
and there was nothing wrong with it, brand new.
Made up a price.
What's in the garage right now?
Huh?
What is in the garage right now?
What, is it back?
Right here. I'm asking you.
There's nothing in the garage,
There's piles in the garage.
We have a brush truck. Where's the brush truck?
huh?
There's piles.
There's one in a yard around the corner with really tall grass.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
Well, that one doesn't belong to
The fire engine, where did it go?
which one? You got
Okay.
like a-
The big beautiful one we had that worked,
They auctioned it.
The white one?
huh?
That white pickup truck?
No, I'm talking about the fire engine now.
Oh, the red
We
one
had a
in
big
John's
beautiful
yard?
red one,
Oh, that's
beautiful,
There's the
and
one
it
in
worked.
John's yard? Is that the one he's talking about?
No, that was before our time.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're getting way off point, so let's get back
Now,
in
there's
here.
two of them, right?
All right, now we're gonna talk about the Catholic Charities. I just wanted to let you know they dropped off food. So anybody who needs any food, see me after the meeting and we can give that out.
Hold on.
And the next month, they'll be here July 10th at noon.
We announced at the beginning of the meeting, somebody didn't hear it, about the open comments. Fill out a card, you have a comment for public comment. We only have one in here. Once we start, the boxes will be done. You can't put one in after we start public comment. If you want to do public comment, yes, the round card, right here,
You
his
can
name
pass
on
them all around. if you
it.
like.
I'm gonna wait till it now so we can get who wants it in there.
Can I ask one? Right here are the cards.
Will the town hall be open to the public now?
Right now, we posted it
Anybody else?
Wednesday and Friday, 10 to 2.
You want to see another beautiful piece of collection? Look at the road out there.
Charlie.
The blacktop that goes all the way around, that was all replaced. Yet on both sides of the road, there's about that much that wasn't covered with the stuff.
That's the
All
least
the
of
way
the
through.
worries right now.
Huh?
We gotta get some healthy water in you before we start fixing roads. If you make the roads shorter, the roads are just dog beds right now.
Yeah.
Yes, no more
All these
dogs.
little things. nobody wants to-
Mr. Warren, did you have anything you'd like to say before we hit public comment?
So much corruption, it's unbelievable. Every time I said something, it blew me out. When they get it,
Just broke up on us so we can hear you.
There's a plan to get everything, have complete transparency in the town, and to move forward, it's really getting there.
It's good, yes, I love to
Very
say it.
good, very good.
I think you trying to turn me over to?
I'm sorry, I just want to give her a chance to.
Oh, yeah.
Before you finish that.
We're fine.
I'll stop. Talking about the charity, cafeteria.
Oh, no, that was done, just that they'll be here July 10th at noon. I probably said enough for tonight.
We'll make sure it's up.
Does anybody here aware of how people are they signing up for the food drops, or we notify them, or is anybody aware of how that was working before?
He's making public a notice, and then it's, people act on it.
Okay. All the bulletin boards?
So we'll just put it publicly out there.
And sometimes the clerk will call, some people in the box,
And if there is anybody that usually receives that, please get in touch with us, because once again, we weren't left with any notice of how that works, and
Or if they know somebody who does,
Right.
let them know.
so communicate with us. We invite your communication.
websites and so on. Well, I guess we I'm not aware. This is
Well, I just want to make sure that the people down there really do need to get
Well, certainly, make it public notice and.
this is anyway to get enough out.
So are we good to proceed? It's like picking winners.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, so there's 5 in here. Nobody else has any comments that they might want to add before we get started? All right. Let's see what we got.
We usually it's 3 minutes, everybody, okay? Just try to keep it to that. I'm not going to say, stop.
I'm not,
Just
I
try to
don't have
maintain
a timer.
yourself.
Just
Well, we'll just
be,
ask you to try to maintain yourself, okay?
Be polite.
If it gets too far, we may have to ask you to come back next week.
Okay, so we have on planning and zoning, Albert Fuller.
Do I need to come up or can I speak from here?
You can speak.
What I'd like to say is that I'd like to clear up what happened with planning and zoning. It was something that I never intended to do or wanted to do, but I was asked to do it, and I did it as a matter of clarification for the things that the land development regulations said. I was asked to do it. I made every assignment according to what I was asked to do.
Yeah.
In terms of the $50 an hour, I'm sorry, but that's the least that I have ever been paid.
I'm sure.
I've seen some of your work, and you're very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I don't mean to insult you whatsoever.
And it's not necessarily an insult at all. I just wanted to clear the record is that I did what I was asked to do.
Yeah,
And
I didn't mean anything against you. I think you're a lovely man.
there's
You're
not-
very knowledgeable.
And that's not, and honestly, I'm not insulted by it.
Okay.
Because sometimes it was an imposition on me in order to take my time to do those things when I have a lot of other things that I do, both international consulting and the like. So it's something that I did because I was asked to do it and I thought it was a temporary assignment. The council did vote on it and it was approved. As to whether I had an agenda, I had no agenda whatsoever in terms of this town. But when I was asked to interpret a land development regulation, I did it according to an application. And as I always said, I need an application so I have something to work with. And I would just suggest that the town in the future have the same process, which is an application process in order for a planning and zoning official to look at it. But now I think the town is in need of a little bit more than just a part-time planning and zoning official. You need somebody to contract with to be able, if the county chooses not to continue their inspection process, then I think you all need to get a firm to do that. It's certainly not me, and it's certainly not anything that I would even like to do, because my schedule is far too busy to take something like that on. So in terms of targeting, I have no intent to target people. I have no agenda. I'm just interpreting regulations based on that large land development regulation booklet. And so I gladly accept
The termination.
the termination.
Yeah, I absolutely appreciate you, and I never thought you were particularly doing anything wrong. And I appreciate your knowledge, and I agree we need to revisit that subject to do things differently in the future.
And the paperwork in the office backs up the fact that you were assigned to these things. You weren't,
Yes.
you didn't bring them
Yes.
to them. And their messages and their emails back and forth shows they definitely were using you to pursue their agenda.
Can we clarify who they are? Who was using it? Mr.
At
Fuller?
this moment, I don't know the names from different groups.
Mary and Russell Meeks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Please stay and
Thank you, Mr.
consult.
Fuller.
We might need to, Mr. Fuller.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
Jeremy Hill. He said, I'm getting vacation now. Question for council.
No comments, just questions. I promise not to try and take up too much time. I do have some questions though. So, number one, I want to share my deep appreciation of the new mayor, Madam Mayor Therese. You are doing a fantastic job. I've seen more accomplished tonight than I've seen in the past 3 years. Thank you. Deanna, Belinda, my goodness, what you've done with the office is incredible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I do have a few questions. Belinda specifically, may I ask a question of Belinda as a volunteer?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Remember?
One question.
Volunteer.
You're only a volunteer.
I'm only a volunteer.
I have this question because I have a problem with corruption, and I have a problem when people are taking money and misusing it. And this is the town's money, and I know the town doesn't have a lot of money. And I have a problem with that when I see 60 hours a week in a part-time position in a town of 100 people, money going out. That's your money, it's my money. You're a professional. In your professional opinion, how many hours a week is that position?
Less than 10.
Less than 10 hours a week. And
Go in and you know what you're doing, it's less than 10.
that's 50 hours a week, people, that was spent of your money inappropriately. All right, thank you. Thank you for the answer. I've got a few other questions. Madam Mayor, in your personal opinion, what you've seen so far, can you put a dollar amount on how much inappropriate spending you've seen and you've uncovered thus far?
I can't even put that yet.
Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands, tens of thousands? If you were to, at this point, if you were to guess.
I would have to say thousands.
This is way beyond public comment at this point.
I'll suggest if you're not giving them out.
Well, I wouldn't know an amount to give. I've never seen any money. I'm just making my opinion.
All right.
My opinion is that it's more than hundreds.
All right, thank you. So thousands. As I'm viewing all this tonight, I do not see Russell Meeks Sr. here. I'm hearing that you can't even get into the accounts. He had a meeting where a motion was made to pay the bills. I'm hearing bills haven't even been paid. I'm concerned that the water's going to be turned off for the people because the electric bill hasn't been paid. In my opinion, it looks as if Russell Meeks is actually intentionally sabotaging your mayorship and the town as a whole. Would that be an appropriate assumption? I'm not talking to you, Don. I'm talking to her. He is corrupt. Okay. So is that an appropriate assumption that Russell Meeks Sr. is actually intentionally sabotaging your mayorship, the new leadership, and the town as a whole?
And water.
And the water.
He has directed this question.
That's how I personally feel, that I've been set up for failure and that there's no help, but I'm used to cleaning up messes. I've been doing it my whole life, so this is the perfect job for me.
You've done a fantastic job in here. One more question. I won't take my 3 minutes off you. Don seems to be taking time for the first time, but as you're seeing all this and you're talking about all this that you're finding in emails, I heard 6,000 emails. Is the attorney part of this?
A part of the correction.
Is the attorney Warm part of all of this that's going on?
He's been in communication with the clerk.
That's my last question. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Therese. Thank you, Council. Thank you.
Is that an accusation? Was that an accusation? He is corrupt.
We have,
Was it yes or no?
Stop, he asked her a question, there was no accusation.
Okay, we're moving on to the next person.
Carl Hughes.
It doesn't have any questions.
I have multiple things.
Okay,
Congratulations on being elected mayor.
thank you.
Zim, I want to say, I've said some negative things about you in the past, and if you would, I would like to shake your hands. I had some things to say to Russell, which is what it is. But Don, I have something to ask you. When is your term up? It's what, about 10 months?
Public knowledge.
Okay. I'm just asking in particular, your term's up in about 9-10 months?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll be coming for your seat.
Great.
And for the board, I'd like to ask, what would y'all, there's dogs running around loose. They're just running around attacking people. They're running up at people's property, attacking other people's animals, stuff like that. What is y'all's thing with that?
The rules on handling the dogs and the processes of like a dog catcher, handler, and the process has to go through training courses and certain things that the town really can't afford to do something with that right now. But I do, and Therese agrees, that we're going to look into, there's a lot of properties in this town that's not paying their fair share of taxes. And there's people that almost, I I haven't had a chance to look at them all, but the county has been pointing out quite a bit of them that some people have on large tracts of property paying less money in taxes than Don here is paying. And that's not fair to Don.
That's the county's problem, it's not ours, we have nothing to do with
We
it.
have everything to do with it. This is our county taxes come from that collection. And the percentage of taxes that you pay come to this county. And that balance, it's out of balance.
It's the county appraiser that determines whether or not. I'm not saying they're, no, what makes you think they are?
Now, I can say, excuse me for just a minute, I can say back and forth in the emails that I've seen just briefly, because again, it's been a rough week. There has been some back and forth with them creating ordinances and trying to figure out stuff, because it seems that there's a circular motion between the county and the city and it getting kicked back and forth. But we do have a definite problem with the animals, and something does need to be done. So if we can generate more revenue, we can afford to do the things we need to do as far as that's concerned. I will be speaking with the county and Mr. Warm for suggestions as to what we can do moving forward, because something does need to be done about it. I don't feel safe walking through here. It happens to a lot of different people that they don't feel safe. I've had a lot of people talk to me about it, so we need to look more into it.
So we're saying that we should raise the property taxes.
If you'll let us, by making the people pay their fair share, doesn't make it
Size of the fair share. The county
We take the
appraiser.
balance that you pay, take the balance that you pay, is it that's a fair price, isn't it? Based on your stuff, that's a fair price. So then everybody probably should be assessed at the same level, and that way they should be paying the same ratio.
We're getting way off topic. I just want to say that we will be looking into all revenue growth and what we can do to put in the things we need to do, such as the dogs, cats, whatever animal, and the different things that should be done in this town. We need to look at different ways to raise revenue, whether it's through taxes or other things. We will be looking into all of those things because something needs to be done. And like I said, we will be talking to the county and to Mr. Warm to see what we can do going forward, and I'll keep you posted on statuses. Does that answer your question? Huh?
I'm a licensed trapper,
Okay, we'll keep
and
your
I
number if you
can
want to see
take
me
the
after the meeting.
animals to Levy County Shelter.
Okay.
Anyone can, it's legal.
See me after the
Legal.
meeting and give me your number.
If I
Does
see
that
a feral
answer-
dog, I can
does
put
that
it in my
answer your
car and
question
bring
on
it
that,
to them.
Carl?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I will keep in communication and let you know where we're at, because that's also on the top of my list too.
Yes, ma'am. The only reason I ask is because I personally, driving down the road on my motorcycle, I've been attacked by,
Yes.
dogs running loose. My brother has. I've seen other people be attacked by them.
I've had the
Yeah.
same problem on my golf cart.
So it just becomes something that becomes a nuisance that shouldn't be.
Yes, I
There
agree.
is a leash law, regardless of what the ordinance is.
True.
Yeah, the problem is nobody wants to enforce it.
Doesn't the county have a animal?
The county does. The county does, but it doesn't want to do anything about it. It kicks it back to us. It just goes in a big circle.
But I will tell you that in the meantime, it is perfectly legal for me to stop and pick a dog up who's sleeping in the middle of the road, because it's feral at that point, put it in my car and take it to the Humane Society.
Correct.
And you can do that with cats and dogs,
Correct.
and at some point,
Can't do it with cats.
you know what? At some point, you're gonna get sick of paying the
You can't
fees
throw
to get your
Right.
animal out.
Cat
And you're
is a
gonna-
free roaming animal.
Absolutely.
Take care of
many times you
If
didn't
you
get
own
your
an
back.
animal, it is your responsibility to keep it
Right.
under your
And if you-
control.
you wanna keep
So
Inside a
if
fence
somebody
run.
happens to pick it up when it's
Inside a
running
fence run.
loose and it gets taken to where, that's on you.
Yeah.
Those are the facts.
Perfectly legal.
Those are the facts. Was there something else, Carl?
No, ma'am, that's all.
Okay.
Can we check what we were spending all our money on before we raise taxes of new
We will be
taxes?
going through a lot of things, and believe me, as we find out things, they will be revealed, because once again, we will be transparent, because everybody has the right to know what's going on, and like I said before, I expect the community to be part of this process.
Because raising taxes shouldn't be the first thing.
No, we'll be looking into plenty of different areas for revenue.
There's lots of ways of looking at that without raising individual taxes.
There's lots of things, and believe me, they'll all come in time. We have to prioritize things at this point.
People with not much money get their taxes raised right away.
Yeah.
Let's see what we're spending it on. This is
Before everybody gets worried about it, it's not happening tomorrow.
Thank you.
Nothing's happening tomorrow. We've got a long road ahead of us.
Oh, Tim,
The process won't be to raise individual taxes.
Thank
It's just
you.
to make the
I
ones
just
that
wanted to
are
make it
paying a
clear.
fair amount. We want what you're paying, that everyone else to be on the same scale.
We just want to make sure all the people watching.
Right. It's just not,
No, that's
it's not
not
fair
gonna
to you
happen.
for someone to pay a tenth of what you're paying.
Thank you.
Okay, am I next? Okay, so kind of into two different people, so let's start with this one. Charlie Watson.
Hey, just a quick question. I have two things. Have y'all taken the locks off the meters?
Not yet. I did mention that at the, under the water.
It's fireworks season, and y'all know all the fires that are going around in the country and Canada. I would only, if y'all want to do it like around like 19, where you may have people abusing it, like the big companies that come around and do stuff, I would just at least suggest to do it in the residential areas, like close to houses. And
I think they'll be coming off this week. I did mention in here, but it's not something that has to be part of the board. They just come off.
And safety, I hear Richard talk about sometimes this job is hard because there's a lot of growth around the water meters, where, risk management and stuff, that could, he pokes his eye because somebody's got limbs hanging over. I would suggest like maybe y'all go around and see what's overgrowth that may prohibit him from doing his job, to make his job a lot easier. And I would like to donate brand new knee pads and a kneeling pad for him, so when he goes around and does like the water, he can like lay down, save his knees, make it where he doesn't get his pants wet, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, and then, is that it? Next person? Charles Larry Watson Jr.
Here I am, back again.
Hey.
Guys, I thank you very much for y'all having me, even though I'm not a resident here. Mom grew up here like I went over that. Mayor and Teresa, I would like to say this. I have 6 sisters, and the way you treated last night embarrassed me. It just embarrassed me bad. People could keep their mouth shut. You was elected, and people elected you. There was an insult to all those people, and not only was it an insult to all those people, it was an insult to even the people that didn't vote for you. I just want to say thank you. I got my mom grew up here, but anyway, I left everybody kind of hanging last time. We're talking about, I was meet probably in English, and there was a killing. The guy that was killed was a truck driver. Well, I'm going to pick up from there. I was talking to Mike Joyner, and I heard that he was embedded in that investigation. So I asked Mike, and he said, yeah, well, we hit it off pretty good. And like I said, I'm a silent person. I don't usually go out. This is the second time I've ever been to a meeting like this. But I can just voice my opinions and voice what I see. Like I say, when I grew up, it was hard for me. I'm dyslexic. And but what we do, if you know a person that's dyslexic, we think different. We bring things out different. And I impressed Mike Joyner so much. He said, Larry, he said, I want to come out one day and pick you up and ride you around for 3 or 4 hours and pick your brain. Because I'm not going to get into discussion. Something going on with the county. Talk to Mike about it. It didn't go the way it was supposed to. Mike said, I'm going to have one of the county employees come out and talk to you. Sure enough, I got a call. Mr. Watson, this is so-and-so. I'm going to come and explain to you about what happened. I said, look, don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. You lied to the county commissioners to get this passed. And it happened. Anyway, guys, like I say, I know a lot of wealthy people, like I told you, maybe, One of the guys called me tonight, he can't make it back to St. Pete. He sits on the St. Pete Council. And he owns multi-homes. But it's kind of funny, I got a lot of people that's got, I showed Florida Rock. I showed Florida Rock 1,600 acres. Man from down at Bay City got 3 acres on the south end of that. People would come look at it, and they wouldn't like, this old guy, this old geezer, he ain't gonna give up that 3 acres. We talked to him. Time after time it happened. And so real estate person called me and asked me, and said, do you know this old geezer? And I said, yeah, friend of mine. And they said, well, would you ask him, call him and ask him, could I talk with him? Because it's holding up this $4 or $5 million sale. Sure. I called him. And I don't mention his name. So it's LW. Hey, LW. I said, you know all the times you call me to run over your house, you've got 2 homes and stuff, run over your house and turn your lights on. And I don't mean to hold too much time because I probably won't come back. So I thank you for your time. I said, all the times that I've done that? He said, yeah, LW. I said, the guy, young lady in real estate, could she call you? Yeah, she can call me, but I'm going to tell you what, they keep pressing me and keep on. He said, I'll buy it myself. And I said, I said, look, can you? He said, yeah. It's sold. They worked out a deal. He can hunt for all the property. He's in his 80s. But I look at things different than the average person. Now I'm going to show you one thing. And this is not 4 or 5 acre properties. These are 1,500 acre properties. These are neighbors. They're using my keys. This is one of my neighbors. 400 acres, 200 acres. LW, will you watch our property? Sure. One more thing. I'm embarrassed to say, I got a nickname years ago. All these rich geezers gave me a nickname. Where's the son? Tell him a nickname.
He's the mayor of Gulf Hammock, at least on the west side. I think what my dad's trying to say is there's a lot of baby boomers that are been in the city. They are trying to find property, and they're looking, and they want to retire. They want this kind of way of life. They want to preserve this way of life. And what's going to happen if you keep getting the growth that's coming to Chief from Bronx and everything, you're not going to have it because they're going to start pushing you out.
But I'm going to just finish up. I'm sorry. Like I say, might be the last time I'll ever come here. I thank y'all for the time having us. There's some things going on that I can help y'all with some of the properties. You look at how you approach people about that property to build up Gulf Hammock. You understand what I'm saying? And build up here. You don't go say, oh, they say they won't sell. You don't just say, how will you sell? You got to say the reason. We're trying to spruce it up. There's other reasons. If you ask a person to clean their property, or you can clean their property up, let that person know that you're not liable if you're going to get hurt on that property. That's the biggest fear that people have. If you want to spruce up the town, let them people know that things will reverse a lot of things. I'm sorry for taking up so much time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Everybody, anybody got? All right, do I hear? Everyone good? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Do I hear a second? All right, all in favor? Meeting adjourned. Yep, thank you, Mr. Mark.
Best meeting in 5 years, best meeting.
By far best meeting.
Need to call him on Colin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love your.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't ever have to say that.
Did you meet tonight? Did you meet any of Okay. So, Jeremy, or do you come with us? We'd like people to come visit us. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
I'll take some of that food when you get a minute. I said I'll get some of that food when you get a minute.
Okay.
I told you, Anytime Fitness, it's Hometown Fitness.
Hometown.
Yeah, it's the one at the south side.
That's the one I'm looking into.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
Right now it's a little busy, but I want to tomorrow.
Yeah, it's Hometown Fitness is the one on the south side, not the new one. See, I told you Anytime Fitness, which is the wrong one.
Would you like I can do it in the morning. I would have brought this. We appreciate you.
Couldn't handle it in there? Yes, sir.
You didn't say anything. I didn't know. I was everybody up there talking tonight. Oh. It was a good meeting. Yeah, yeah. I didn't recognize this man right here when I come in.
Me either.
I didn't even recognize him.
No beard.
That's what I told him when he said he was going to get a shave. I said, no one's going to recognize
I did. I didn't recognize when I come in. Somebody said,
he's a new man.
oh, you did. Somebody told me.
Where's Floyd? He's in the car? He didn't want to come in? What a goofball.
How are
very, very good. I used to live in I'm sure you heard of Bristol.
Just come and give me a hug. I know you're waiting. Thanks for being here.
That's so sweet.
I will.
And I just want to community your
Oh, I will.
And it'll get better. It'll get better.
Hey, Jeremy. I just want to thank you for what you brought some life back into this town. I've been here 20 years, man. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
But I am very, very proud.